Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating philosophical essay by an author named Xue Feng that is going to completely flip how you look at the everyday frustrations of modern life. If you ever felt like you're just not getting a fair shake or that the universe is somehow tilted against you, this analysis is going to challenge that assumption right from the ground up. The source material we're unpacking today is titled, quite directly, Do Not Seek Fairness, but Seek Peace of Mind.
So, let's start with the feeling I'm sure we all know incredibly well. Is the world actually unfair, or are we just looking at it all wrong? You know, we constantly deal with this cognitive dissonance in our lives because, let's be honest, everywhere we look, the world certainly seems unfair. Someone has more money, someone has an easier job, someone just seems naturally luckier. But today's source material proposes a radical paradigm shift. It suggests that nature actually has a hidden, perfect balance, and our human obsession with demanding fairness is the exact thing making us miserable.
Xue Feng sets up this really brilliant paradox. Think about nature's perfect fairness for a second. The essay argues that the way of nature is entirely just, that the sum of positive and negative energy always perfectly balances out to zero. Basically, every action has an equal and opposite reaction that maintains universal equilibrium. But contrast that with humanity's view. Through our human eyes, we literally only see disparities. We see cats catching mice, and we think, well, that's unfair to the mice. We see lions and wolves hunting, and it seems unfair to the antelopes. Even among humans, we see people who are incredibly beautiful while others are not. We see people born into absolute luxury and others who struggle their whole lives just to afford basic food and clothing. As long as we look at the world through this hyper-focused lens, we are going to find unfairness absolutely everywhere.
But what happens when we react to those differences? Since reality is clearly full of these disparities, demanding that the world suddenly become fair is a massive trap. Seriously, if you spend your life actively chasing fairness, what is the actual cost to you? While the text lays it out, it actively robs you of your happiness. You're going to have trouble sleeping and eating. Your life will be spent in constant worry, pain, anger, resentment, and jealousy. Ultimately, this relentless pursuit guarantees a complete loss of joy, freedom, and bliss.
Okay, so the crucial point here is understanding exactly why this suffering happens in the first place. The text points to a very specific root cause, drawing from Article 102 of a framework called the 800 Values for the New Era Humans, and it boldly defines the issue like this. A mind of comparison is a mind of wickedness. Now, why wicked? Because, according to the author, if you observe the vast majority of ugly phenomena in human society, you'll see they are almost entirely the result of people constantly comparing themselves with others. Let's walk through this super relatable example straight from the text to see exactly how this wickedness plays out in real time. Step 1. Your neighbor buys a new small car. Step 2. Even though literally nothing in your own life has changed, you suddenly lose sleep. You start feeling uneasy, obsessing over how you can buy an even better car than May did. Step 3. You suffer for nothing. The author uses another great example. A family in the countryside buys a house in the city, and suddenly the family next door can no longer sleep until they also buy a house in the city, just to feel at ease. It is 100% self-inflicted misery. And that self-inflicted misery illustrates a really profound point. Quote, discontentment arises from comparison. If people do not compare with each other, the world will be prosperous. The essay points out how our discontentment is completely manufactured right inside our own heads. Think about it for a second. If you're 1.7 meters tall, which is a perfectly fine height, why on earth are you agonizing over someone who is 1.8 meters tall? If your family is healthy and safe, why are you envious of someone with a bustling, wealthy scene in front of their house? If you have 1 acre of land to cultivate, why let the person with thousands of acres ruin your day? The feeling of unfairness is simply the toxic byproduct of comparison. To really drive this home, the author exposes the total absurdity of wanting everything in life to be completely fair. I love this part. The text asks, if someone else has youthful pimples and you don't, do you feel disadvantaged? Do you demand fairness then? Obviously not, right?
Let's keep going with these rapid-fire questions from the source, because they really highlight the hypocrisy. If your neighbor's doorstep is suddenly piled high with garbage, do you feel it's only fair to pile garbage at your own doorstep to keep things equal? If someone else's house is washed away by floods, is it fair for you to knock down your own house? Or, if someone needs serious heart surgery, do you want that surgery too, just for the sake of fairness? And hitting the climax of these rhetorical questions, the text asks, if someone else embezzles 100 million yuan and gets sent to prison, do you feel it's fair for you to go live in prison too? No way. We literally only ever demand fairness when someone else has something we perceive as a positive advantage. We completely ignore the negatives, which perfectly highlights the sheer folly of our whole obsession with fairness.
This brings us to a really powerful personal anecdote from the author that captures this massive disconnect between visible results and invisible causes. The author talks about living in a luxurious villa for 20 years, complete with a lush green lawn, a large swimming pool, and flourishing flowers. Now, someone looking at that might scream that it's unfair, but they are only seeing the visible luxury. What they completely missed was the invisible cause. While others were leisurely enjoying TV programs and living a relaxed life, the author was spending decades studying hard under a dim lamp, struggling and sacrificing.
As the author writes, for 10 years, no one asked about the hardships of studying, but once you're recognized, everyone knows. Behind almost every seemingly unfair advantage is a hidden law of cause and effect that we just didn't happen to witness. There is a direct cause and effect relationship between those unseen hardships and the highly visible recognition that follows. The unfairness we think we perceive is usually just our own ignorance of the hidden causes.
So what's the real takeaway here? Once we actually grasp this underlying principle of cause and effect, it naturally stops us from chasing after superficial fairness. Instead, the text advises us to find true alignment. Focus your effort where no one knows. Stop agonizing over the visible results others are flaunting, and start putting in the invisible work that actually balances the scales of nature over time.
Moving into our next section, seeking peace of mind. If pursuing fairness is a fool's errand, what should we be seeking instead? The author's solution is straightforward. Actively choose peace of mind.
And the essay lays out some really specific, actionable ways to get there. Achieving peace of mind means making a conscious choice every day. Do not harm others. Do not harm nature. It involves respecting the greatest creator, respecting life itself, and just flowing with the way of nature. The author promises that if you simply align with these principles, your life becomes genuinely auspicious, meaning it's filled with positive momentum and favorable outcomes. You are justified in your peace of mind, and you walk a path toward heaven, completely free from the exhausting, endless trap of comparing yourself to everyone else.
We're going to end on this final, incredibly provocative thought straight from the text. The author challenges us with this. If you can live a life where you have enough to eat, a roof sheltered from the wind and rain, and you can sit down with a few close friends to chat over drinks, discussing the sun, moon, and stars, what else is there to seek? Seriously, why suffer from joy and sorrow over what your neighbor happens to have? A simple life shared with loved ones is comparable to the life of a little deity. So, as you go about your day, I'll leave you with this. Are you letting the illusion of fairness steal the profound blessing of the peace of mind sitting right in front of you?